to make tonight's card and the other 2 cards in the series, and you will get the tutorials. So huge bonuses for today if you put that order in my online store. And with that, I am going to stop running my mouth and start showing you how to do the project. So for all of my projects, if you just want to grab, oh, thanks, Tiffany. If you just want to grab the dimensions, I include them in my weekly email. So if you want the dimensions for tonight's project, you just need to be signed up for the email by Sunday night. So the link for that is in the description as well. And I think, there we go. So there's a couple things that I'm going to show you how to do. I do not want to lose my little pearls there. So if you have any questions as I'm going along, let me know. So this is a standard card size, but it's just 1 layer of cardstock. And then we'll do the standard mat of designer series paper. And then the rest of it is all going to come from the dies. So it's kind of a fun fold, kind of like a postcard almost. But it just, I think it's nice to do something a little different from, every now and then. And then this is where you can write your little message. If this isn't enough space to write your little message, then you can always flip over, whether you put, I usually do a white card liner. So you could put that back here, or you could just write on the red, because I think it, black ink on red works okay. So let's start doing all these little things. So the standard card in the United States is that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that is the measurement of my real red. And then the designer series paper is just the usual mat of 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So just center this on here, theoretically straight, who knows, hopefully. I don't know if it's all of the hash marks on the designer series paper. This doesn't look totally straight, but I think we're pretty close. So then the next thing, I think we'll do our stamping first. So I'm going to bring in my Blushing Bride ink and this cute little mitten stamp. So I just want to make sure that I get that inked well. I don't know if we have been crazy dry in the house or what, but I feel like all of my ink pads all of a sudden have been really dried out. So hopefully this stamp's okay. It's good enough. It's not a juicy image, but I think it's good. So that is that little piece. And then to do the ribbon hole here, what I did was bring in the Very Best Trio punch. And I am going to, so there's a line right there, and that shows you the center of that punch. So it makes it really easy to center up whatever cardstock you're putting in, and then punch it down, and you've got your perfect little ribbon slot. So then I just bring in a piece of white baker's twine, and I double it. And then if I run that from the back to the front, I can pull through. Oh, I'm having trouble grabbing this tonight. I can pull this through and have my cute little bow tie thing. It's not really a bow. And then I'll just trim the ends once I'm done with everything. So now I've already cut our glimmer white snowflake. Hey, Aunt Pat, thanks for being here. So we just need to do our little circle. And for that, we are going to do some white heat embossing. And we are also going to mask off our stamp. And this stamp says, let's celebrate you. And for whatever reason, I decided I didn't want the U on there. So it's always nice to know how to make your stamps do more. So by masking this off, oh, I am not going to get tape out of that. You can kind of change what your stamps say. So just going to cover up all of that word without covering any of the words that I want. And then bring in my Versamark ink pad and get this inked up well. Sorry, I don't want to shake the camera, but it does tend to wiggle a little bit. And then the most important thing is that you take off your mask. So now I'm just going to get that stamped there. And it's really hard to see until you put the powder on, unless you tilt it in just the right angle. But I can tell that I did get a good stamped image. So I am just going to, oh, and I just realized I did not use my little embossing buddy to remove static. So we'll just hope that that isn't a problem. So I am just picking up some powder and trying not to get it all over my fingers or make this look terribly awkward, because it really shouldn't be. All right, I think that will do. So before I turn on my heat tool, I always want to close up my embossing powder so that I don't manage to blow it all over the room. And then I am going to grab my reverse tweezers because this piece is little and I don't want to burn my fingers. So what I can do is just grab it like that. Oh, I'm doing lots of reaching across the screen tonight. Bring in my heat tool, and I'm just going to let it warm up under the table so that I don't burn any of my paper. Because definitely if you hold it on for too long, you will burn the embossing powder or the cardstock itself. So as you're watching, you can see when it starts to turn shiny, that's how you know that you've gotten it where you want it. Just make sure that it all got good and melted, and then turn that off. I keep wondering if there's a better way to organize things, and it always feels like a mess in here. It doesn't matter what I do. As soon as I start crafting, everything comes out again. And so I am really excited about the ribbon holder that I ordered from Stampin' Storage the other day. They're doing 12 days of specials, which everybody does now. And I don't know, it's kind of overwhelming, but I was really excited to see something I actually needed on sale. So hopefully that comes soon and I can clean up that ridiculous mess of a drawer that I currently throw all of my bolts of ribbon into. And I am thinking that I used, so this required a little bit of tweaking to get my pocket the way I wanted it to be. But what I did was take this wider side of the larger tag die. And the reason I did that is that these flaps will then fold over to help make that pocket. So theoretically, this will all fit just right. And I don't know how to get this in the screen. So I don't need the bottom half of it, so I'm just not going to waste the cardstock and cut that out. I do want to get all of my pieces in a little better order here so that this runs through properly. And then there we go. Oh, it does take a little bit of pressure. Do you love my dinosaur stamp on my hand that's yellow Emily got it at school, and she stamped all over me, and then she stamped herself 20 times or something, so she had to have a bath tonight because she's an inky mess. She was even doing her chin. She's crazy. So now that we have this cut out, I can show you how I did the rest of it. So I actually don't need this scrolly part up at the top. I don't know if you'd say scrolly, but anyway, the fancy little design going on there. So I am just going to bring this in so that it is flush across the top. Anytime you're using your trimmer, you want to make sure that your cardstock is flush against this lip up here. And then you want to make sure you know which of your blades you're using. So I don't need my scoring tool right now. I just need the cutting blade. So I'm going to cut there. And then so that I can put this cute little bitty notch, you can use a heart punch for that. I am just going to use a retired circle punch that I have in my stash, assuming I can find it. And you know, the circle punches are really the only things that I ever keep after they retire, because I mean, you just always need circles. So punch that, and now I have that little slot. And fold in these sides. And I do want to make sure that I really burnish these edges so that they lie down well. And for some reason, that is not wanting to burnish right, but it will be fine. Okay, so get that one. And then I could trim this to be a little bit narrower, but I think it will be fine like this. So we'll just leave it as is. And now I want to just get some glue on all of this. I want to make sure that I put a really thin bead of glue on these side tabs because I don't want it to squoosh out once I put it on my card and then have the pocket not actually function. So we will grab this and do just like so. And I'm just going to hold it for a second, make sure that that glue has time to start getting tacky and holding. And then before it's totally done, I am going to slide this in and just make sure that it goes. So I think that will be fine. And we are getting so close to done. So again, if you want to make sure that you get the PDF for this project, make sure that you are subscribed over on my email subscription. I send out a weekly email. Try to keep it really informative and useful, something you can refer back to if you have any questions about classes that I have going or anything like that. Somehow, I can't find my star. It's got to be here somewhere. Although I might have blown it away when I was heat embossing. So we might be cutting another one of those momentarily, because I am definitely not seeing it. Did anybody see it go somewhere? the fun things that happen when you're crafting live. We'll get to that in just a second. I am going to first adhere this real red ribbon bow on the bottom with a glue dot because that is my favorite way to adhere bows. I just feel like liquid glue, you make a big mess, and this is a little bit simpler. So do that. You all are so very quiet tonight. I am kind of entertained that you must have a lot going on. If you're anything like me, I'm sure you do. getting ready for Christmas and all of the should do's and whatever is honestly just kind of exhausting. So I have a list a mile long. Okay, we're gonna have to cut a new snowflake because I lost it. Oh, it's right there. That was better. Watching with rapt attention. You're so funny. So are you talking about the designer series paper, Janie? Because yeah, I love this pattern. And there's another one in here that looks kind of like berries or I don't know, you could do lots of different things with it, but it is definitely not a Christmassy kind of pattern. So I'll see if I can find a piece of that here in just a second. I was looking today to see, because I usually don't like to demonstrate things that you can't get anymore, but it does look like these dies have sold out. And I think that the stamp set is carrying over, so you'll be able to get that. If you are someone who held off and then didn't get them in time, let me know. If you wanted these kits, then we can figure that out. So there's not actually a ton of die cutting with the 3 cards that I did on Facebook this month. So I think a couple dimensionals here, and make sure that my words are straight-ish. So just like that. And then I'm going to get my iridescent pearls and my take your pick tool. And we will finish this up. So I did put the largest one kind of right there. And that did not end up as centered as I thought it was going to. So that looks better. And I just used the spatula to just kind of scoot that glue dot over. And I'm using the putty end to kind of make a little ball at the end that will then pick up the pearls. So see where I want this last one. I think, well, just kidding. I think I want that one scooted over too. There we go. All right, so then we will just trim down this twine and call it good. So I'm glad that you are liking this. At this rate, you'll be ready by Easter. I love it. Yeah, I have done a better job this year of doing our advent calendar with my kiddos and trying to explain why that all matters, and that I have really enjoyed. And I had ideas for things we could go do for Christmas, and it just hasn't happened. I don't know. I mean, there was a cold, and there were, everybody's had something. So, and I just didn't want to feel rushed and crowded. And so I was just going to show you the rest of this pack of paper quickly. So this is the pattern that we just used. And on the back of it, it's just this really neutral pine cone pattern that I love. I think it's beautiful. And then these cute little berries and sprigs. And then on the back of that, Janie, this is the one I was talking about that kind of could be berries or it could be all sorts of things, but it is definitely not Christmas to me. So I think that's really, really nice. I just appreciate the way Stampin' Up! Does such a good job of making sure that all of the designer series papers have patterns that you can use for lots of different things. Like this is just greenery. It's really pretty. So definitely it's been a good pack of paper, and I am glad that I was able to use it again this year. So that is all that I have to show you tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed this live, and if you're catching it on the replay, I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. I am Gonna take the next 2 weeks off because of Christmas. So I won't be with you the next 2 Thursdays. I'll be back in January. If you need any help with ordering tonight, knowing what to order or anything like that, let me know. I want to make sure that you take advantage of that free shipping if you were considering ordering something anyway. Other than that, there is a new Paper Pumpkin subscription going on. It's called Key to My Heart. So it really focuses on pretty locks and keys for the Valentine season. So it does make, let's see, the kit itself makes 9 cards, 3 designs, and then there's also an add-on that will make treat boxes. There's also the new, forgot the name, love this something, that is treat boxes. It makes 20 cute little boxes, and that is just a kit you can buy at any time, but obviously perfect for Valentine's, and we all know that that will be here before we know it. So I would consider those if you like to do Valentine's cards and treats. And then I meant to show you while the camera was down, but I'll just show you now. I got this beautiful, oh my gosh, here we go again, watercolored card that was painted by one of my friends. And then I was out at the Stampin' Up! Home office today, and they gave me this beautiful thank you card. You know, I don't very often color on colored cardstock, but I love the look of this one. I think it turned out really nicely. And then one of my lovely customers sent, oh my gosh, where am I? Sent this one, and I just love how it turned out. And then she did the inside too. And one of my sidelines, Anne Marie Heil, sent this birthday card, and it's clean and simple, but the designer series paper just makes it pop. It's really beautiful. So that is fun. And then a friend that I met at Backstage this summer sent this beautiful card, and I just love seeing how people do different layouts and ideas and how they color. It's a lot of fun to receive all of this. This one was from another of my sidelines, Anne Margaret, and it is the Splendid Day bundle, which I really didn't do very much with. And I'm sad that it's retiring because I should have. It's really pretty. And then she did the inside too. And then last one is from my beautiful mother, and it uses that, can't think what it's called, but it goes with the Fitting Florets bundle, I think, the suite right now. So this paper is gorgeous, and then some polished pink and evening evergreen, and then that is just a beautiful stamp and all of the fun gems that are on there. So thank you for those and for allowing me to share them with you. I hope that you have a wonderful night. Again, always reach out if you have any questions. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you in the new year. Take care, you guys. Bye.